Weapons Magazine! Hi everyone, and welcome to our tips for Star Wars Battlefront 2 Starfighter Assault, which is essentially the space-based experiences within the game where you take on iconic starfighters in a number of different space combat scenarios. If you're reading along on the screen, then you know exactly what the deal is. So our first tip is that it's all about your ship itself. So it's an important factor to keep upgrading your ship when you can. So if you go into collection, you can see your ship at the bottom, or your selection of ships at the bottom, whether it's the interceptor, the bomber, or the fighter. Now, I tend to use the fighter more often than not, just because I think it's a bit more flexible. And here you can equip and craft cards, and these are essentially little upgrades for your ship. So there, if we can see, I've got one unlocked, and I've got the cooling system set up at the moment, but I've also got another unlock that I could put on, which is the tune lasers, which increases primary weapon damage. So I'm going to just do that now and equip it, and that means that when I do get in a hit on one of the enemies, it's 2% more powerful, which sounds pretty rubbish in all fairness. So as time goes by, I'll be able to upgrade that, and you can see that I need a certain amount of credits, which you get from opening up chests in the main section of the game. So as you kind of open up these crates, you'll get things like credits and new cards and things like that. But the point is to keep coming back here and keep tuning up your ships to be able to be a little bit stronger and a little bit more advanced, which will give you the advantage, or certainly put you in a better place when you do actually take on the multiplayer game itself, which we're going to head over to now. So we're in the open beta at the moment, and obviously the game isn't out, but a lot of these tips will be just as relevant in the game itself. So if we go to the play section and the multiplayer, here is where Starfighter Assault is located. So then we go into the play modes, and it's going to search for a battle. So we'll pick things up in the game itself. So here we are in the game itself, and you can see it is a beauty. But one of the things you need to do to begin with is get to grips with the controls. So firstly, you'll find out pretty quickly that the left analog stick does not control your main direction. It is in fact your right analog stick, and it's really important because it's a little bit frustrating to begin with. And you can see weaving left and right is done using the right analog stick. Now you use the left analog stick to roll. There you can see it's telling me that right there. So I'm just going to show you a roll, and you can see I'm being attacked and I've been blown up. But it's really important to get to grips with the controls. Understanding that is going to help you out in the game itself. So once you've got to grips with the main controls, the next point is understanding how to fire everything. So we're going to start by just shooting, and there you go, you can see sort of straightforward, easy to look forward and shoot. And you can see we've got some people there. You can see I'm just trying to take out somebody, but the point is that once you've got an understanding that the right analog control is how you make the use of the controls in the main game, then you'll find it much easier to actually do any damage and stop yourself being killed quite so often. So it's really important to get to grips with the controls, otherwise you will just lose a hell of a lot more games. So in addition to shooting, you can also see with the left analog control that you can slow down. So I'm just pulling back, and I've just eased off a little bit, and if I want to go faster, I can press forward, and by doing that it means I can get to spaces a little bit quicker. So you can see I'm kind of a million miles away from everything, but I'm just going to speed up, get there a little bit quicker, or slow down, and that's going to be really useful. So for example, I'm getting fired on right now. If I want to get out of the way, I will speed up and get out of the way a little bit. But also, because I've got the TIE Fighter, I've got this afterburner which allows me to get out of the way a little bit. And admittedly, I'm probably going to get hits, but you can see there, by using things like the afterburner, by using the speed boosts, by using the barrel roll, I can get out of the way a little bit better. So there you go, I managed to stay alive a little bit longer. So it's a really important thing to focus on. Okay, so our next top tip is to understand what the objective is in any particular part of the game. So at the moment, it's saying to sort of engage enemy ships. So you can see I'm sort of out of the range of that Y-wing. So I'm using the afterburner to try to get a little bit closer. By understanding what you're supposed to be doing, you can actually do more damage and help to advance. And there you go, managed to destroy that. And kind of somebody else managed to destroy the other part of the objective. And there you can see there's something else there. So I'm just going to sort of press forward and try and get over to it a little bit quicker. So you can see I'm being attacked there by those Y-wings. I'm just going to turn into them. There you go, you can see kind of using the right analog stick. And this dude is a little bit better.
Y-wing squadron appeared. Do not allow.
And there you go. I've managed to eliminate that dude using the torpedo. So once you finally get somebody in view, you can use the torpedo by pressing the RB button. And here again, I'm just sort of following in on the objective. And you can see the objective is to attack these guys here. So they have flown into this section. They're just doing some damage now. But there we go, that's one down.
If they take down the
and trying to take this guy out. And you just kind of, and there you go, I want to sort of trail back a little bit. And there we go, eliminated that one. And I think there's one more over here, there's this ship here. So again, sort of by trailing backwards and pulling back a little bit, I can do a little bit more damage. So understanding the objectives is really important, because if you know what you're doing and where you are, you can do some serious damage. It's also really important to understand where you are at any one time. So getting to grips with kind of each of the landscapes or areas you've got to deal with in all of the scenarios out in space means that you'll know how to quickly get to sort of an objective. So if, for example, I know that the objective is to protect a certain element, by understanding where that element is, I can get to it quicker. And there we go, I can see getting my ass kicked a little bit by that dude. But I'm racking up the points, which is quite cool. So the point is, get to grips with your environment. By understanding the environment a little bit better, you can hit up some high points and get some higher scores and cause a lot more damage and help your team win the objective a lot better. Okay, and that leads on to my next tip, which is essentially, if there's enemies near you, you should just go after them. Don't let them get into a kind of better position. Don't let them hit you. So you gotta stay and get close to the enemies. And if you can see, there's loads of little arrows. This is kind of our next tip. There's essentially loads of little arrows on the screen. You can see where people are, and by focusing on those arrows and chasing people down to kind of hit them, then you'll be in a better position to rack up as many wins as possible. So we're just going to try and give you a bit of an example of that now. So there's no arrows on the screen yet. You can see the enemies up front. They're kind of circled in red. And we're just going to try and get some enemies to come near us.
You hit me.
There we go, we can see some there. There's one, and we can see there's some arrows on the screen. So we're just going to try and find those enemies now. Okay, there we go. We got one. Okay, so essentially the point is, we've got a torpedo locked on us, but we managed to duck out of it. So you can get out of torpedo lock by getting a little bit close to things and doing barrel rolls and things like that. So if you ever get stuck with a torpedo lock coming towards you, don't think it's game over. You can still dish out some damage. So here we go, just going to try and get back into the fray a little bit. There's some dude.
The Star Destroyer will open. Okay,
so we got somebody. There There we go, destroyed. Okay, so our next tip is to use the torpedoes. And essentially you just want to get a lock on and you want to be able to try to take somebody out. So there we go, we've got a lock on. And essentially anytime you kind of can get a torpedo lock on, then you will be able to cause a hell of a lot more damage. So there we go, fired a torpedo, and there we go, eliminated. So that's 2 eliminated in very short order. Okay, so our next tip is that you need to shake enemies when they get anywhere near you. So we're just going to try and get ourselves an enemy, or try and get somebody to sort of come after us. So probably just try and take this dude out because he looks like he's going to be a pretty easy target. There we go, so that's that dude eliminated. Anyway, so we're just looking for a few enemies to try to get them to attack me. So there we go, you can see there's a load over there. I'm just going to go and get up in their grill to see if they'll get involved. This dude, for example. Okay, so just eliminated him.
Primary system's about to fail.
Got another. The shields are back online.
There you go. It's just essentially you've just got to get out of the way. You've got to bob and weave. You've got to barrel roll every now and again. If you get a torpedo lock, try and get yourself down and out of the way. Try and do everything that you can to try and avoid being hit. There we go, so managed to get in a kill assist there. Okay, so tip number 9, we are essentially trying to keep racking up the points, and we want to be able to take out anything and everything, do as much damage as you can. So here you are, you can see everybody is firing on the reactor, and I'm doing the same to try and get it done. But you can see there's also plenty of people to kill here, and there you go, you kind of help to cause some mayhem. So now we've got to go back and go after the couplings. So by keeping on either eliminating people or completing objectives, you'll keep racking up points. By doing that, you'll also win more games. And in addition to winning more games, you'll also manage to pick up more collectibles and cards and crates and just upgrade your ship a little bit better. So all in all, it's just the best way to advance in the game is to keep on racking up your points and causing damage. So you can see here I'm just trying to help out by getting these couplings up and just delivering little bits of damage, and you can see there's somebody trying to get me, so I'm just going to try and there you can see I've managed to fire a torpedo at them. Whether or not it'll stop them, yeah, managed to eliminate them. Okay, so our final tip is to remember to make use of your ship's custom abilities, and you can see the abilities for each of the ships in this screen. So if I press Y, I can see that I can use the astromech repair, which instantly restores a small amount of lost health. I can increase my weapons charge by using the weapon overcharge by pressing LB and RB, or I can use the proton torpedo. So the point is to understand your ship's custom abilities and make sure you use them within the game. Okay guys, that is it for our tips for Star Wars Battlefront Starfighter multiplayer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like, share and comment as much as you want. Thanks guys, goodbye.
Here.
Magazine!